All right, can I take a bunch?
Can you say cheese?
Yeah. Can I take a bunch?
Yeah. Take about 10.
Okay. All right, Bill. You look sweet, but like, yeah, she's doing good because there's a little hole between them.
All right. Suck your stomach in.
Yeah, suck you.
I'm trying.
Good. All right, ready?
Pull this out just for the picture.
Can I have it?
Oh,
Can I have it? I'll give it back.
I gotta get this to Barbara.
Not like that.
Ready? Ready? Happy, happy, happy.
Okay. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Ready, set, go. Dorothy.
Don't smile, Dorothy. Whatever you do, don't smile.
Okay. Dorothy, Josephine. Yes, good. Right here, good. Okay, so you ready? Go. What's that?
Listen to me. Our Carolyn is Amy. She's my great-grandchild. But she's never been here, of course. But the two, that's a great one. These are my two grandchildren right here. Dorothy is 2 years old, and little Josephine Estes Verna. And it's her first visit here to an Estes reunion. So, and she's 2 months old. So that's our Bill and Betsy's children. But really, we have so many babies here and little ones. It's just great. And please, everybody, we've got a book to sign on this lower table. Please put your name and your family down so we'll know who came.
And then I'm keeping up with it too.
And Amy is helping too. Thank you, Amy. But really, we have done a lot of work on the house, and I hope it shows on the outside because they just finished Wednesday. And then the
And so I'm recording now, and Nancy and Mama, this is Josephine Estes, first time to this house and also first Estes reunion. And Nancy spent how many years here?
16.
16 years in this house. What years?
1927 to
1943.
43.
Okay. And then Mama, you and Dad moved here in 49?
March 15th, 49.
So there's been lots of Estes family girls in this house. And Josephine's the latest one.
This is my baby.
This is mine.
Oh, no, it's not.
Well, have you got any advice to our little Josephine Estes as the newest member of the family?
Just be your sweet little self for your mommy and daddy. You're precious.
This is a
And tell him about the bees on the front porch.
Oh.
oh yeah.
I was talking to Alan about the bees a while ago. He said they'll have the bees that come.
The honeybee nest.
Can't get rid of them out there.
And they've been there for
Ever since we lived here, way back then.
it's quite a
They used to come into droves when they were just swarming, you know, and making all that noise.
they're almost as stubborn around here as the Estes.
Maybe a little bit more.
Well, this is a good house to raise little girls in, apparently.
Yep, I think it is. This is a great house.
Hey, Nancy, wasn't Daddy born in this house?
Yeah.
What room? I can't remember. Was it that back room?
I think probably
This one.
both of us were probably born in this one. Yeah.
That is what just fascinates me.
It's something, isn't it?
Well,
Yep.
we can walk with us like it started here.
Bill,
That's right.
Bill was reading a letter that my mama wrote to her mama who lived here, and this was in Monroe. And she was talking about Estes. There was a teddy bear that Estes was scared of. And evidently, Granny's, they've been up there, and Estes, and Cass, whatever, they've been with them to see Mama. And Bill was asking, who is this Estes? So I told him, okay, that's Nancy's older brother.
And most of them called him Tom. You know,
After he
Tom.
went and searched, yeah, that's when he became Tom. But he was still Estes.
yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
called him. When we were here together, he was Estes.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
I never knew him as nothing but Tom.
Really?
But I mean, I knew it was Thomas Estes, but I never knew that he went by Estes. I never knew that.
I think Rose always called him Tom.
Tom.
Now, what you fussing about, huh? What you fussing about? You just trying
See,
to
you're
talk.
not looking at me and talking to me.
You just trying to talk. That's what you're doing. You're so pretty.
Oh, she is, isn't she?
Yeah, I guess we get on the road before the
All right.
race.
Yeah, oh, there y'all are. We're doing some goodbyes and everything.
Take care of yourself.
I'm so glad you
Fixing to do all that.
We didn't know that about that.
All righty. Well, Miss Tenny Wiley is the senior member of our Estes descendants that's here for the Estes reunion, and the longest distance traveler
Probably.
from Jacksonville, Florida, and at 95 years young is a incredible example of the good genes in this family. And then back over here in the back of the room is my wife Betsy and our newest baby Josephine Estes Werner. And so this is her first time to this house, and where she's named after the family that she is a part of, and figured Tenny would be a great person to tell her a little bit about the family that she has been welcomed into. So you were talking about this room here in particular. Was whose room?
This is Grandma and Grandpa Estes' sitting room and bedroom. And we burned firewood in the fireplace here.
Right where this closet is now.
And Grandpa had a chair that would sit right along here. And he always sat right along there. He always used a cane. And his cane was right by his chair.
And you called him Grandpa?
Hmm.
And did you get to hear him play his fiddle?
No, I never did hear him play his fiddle. I sure didn't.
But this would have been the room where he played it?
Probably so. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was the living room over yonder. The piano was in there. But we didn't ever go and sit in there. That was the courtroom room.
Aha. And this, I understand this seashell right here was used to prop the door open to make sure it never got too quiet.
Right. And he had a roll top desk that sat right there where you are.
How about, and would that be the same roll top desk that's in the den now?
I do
Ma-
not know that. I don't know that.
Check it on your way out.
I think it may
could
be.
because there's not many of them around.
I think Papa Breedlove had Daddy take it to the dump, and Dad didn't want to, and Dad took it to the dump according to Papa's instruction, and then went and brought it back. After Papa had left,
All right.
because it was made by somebody in the family.
Oh.
It was handmade. But in Grandma Estes, you called her Granny Tees, right?
Granny Tees, yeah. Granny and Grandpa Tees.
Have you got any, what's your favorite story about Granny Tees? Or the favorite thing she cooked, or?
Oh, they always, we just lived up the hill there. And we'd just come down here anytime. And we always had to have either a sausage biscuit or a ham
Where are you
biscuit.
going with it?
Oh, Patrick, good helper.
Let me show you.
All right, good job.
They always had ham or sausage
Not
in
in there,
there, and
Patrick.
we'd have to have a ham or sausage biscuit when we came down. It was always hungry.
Oh, boy.
It's a little walk.
Well, I imagine the ham and sausage,
Yeah, don't go in there, Patrick.
They raised
Right, he's
it,
sleeping.
what they had raised and killed.
they would raise it and cure it right here in the smokehouse.
Right, right. The smokehouse was right out that way at the end
Thanks,
there.
sir.
He's coming up through there, that thing.
And that was the girls' room right behind them.
Well, did you get to,
Yeah, well, you did a good job.
did you get to help with any of the livestock on the farm, or the chickens?
No, well, we might have helped to feed the chickens.
Come see if you want to. We're going to see.
But he had a horse and buggy, but they also had a car. And Grandpa liked to get in his buggy with his horse and ride over the farm.
So how long did you live up in the house on the hill?
All my life.
But,
I mean, until I married.
and so,
I was born in 13,
born in 1913,
and I married in 1936.
and so you were So you lived in that house on top of the hill through the Depression.
Oh, yeah.
And what, do you have some memories of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But y'all made do with what you had?
Oh, boy. Had picked cotton.
You picked cotton
Oh, yeah.
right out here in the front of the house?
And take water to them when the men would be out tilling the soil or plowing the cotton or doing whatever they had to do.
With mules?
And with mules, pulling the tools of them. And my sister Louise and me, one had to take water to them. Every so often, we'd take water to them. It was according to what they were doing. I would ask them to let me take it and run a row back and forth. And I would run a row back and forth with that mule.
Did you really?
Plow around, come back.
How about that? That's
And
something.
a harrow, they used to have a harrow. It would be a thing just about big as this bed. And one mule pull it. And it would have little things on it, would just cut the soil, just break the soil, you know. They called a harrow. And I would like to do that, take that, but you had to be very careful. You had to make a big turnaround because if you didn't, it would flip over. But I knew how to do it.
That's
My
folks.
daddy had showed me how to do it.
Folks our age don't know what hard work is.
And our garden was just down the hill, on the hillside there. And Mama had all kind, and Granny Estes had all kind of vegetables in the garden. And they had strawberries, but we never had any strawberries, but Granny always had strawberries. But my mother raised asparagus, and I didn't like asparagus. Oh, no.
Huh.
And I didn't
Raised
like
asparagus.
English peas. I didn't like English peas. But when I graduated from high school, and when our teachers had a dinner for the seniors, and had us to dinner, and my mother says, you have to eat everything on your plate now. And we went to go to dinner. You have to eat everything on your plate. Well, she had a nest of creamed potatoes with little sweet peas in it, you know.
Make a bird nest.
Yeah. So I ate those.
First and last screen.
First time I ever ate the whole thing.
How about that?
And after that I had to keep eating them. So I had to make myself like them.
Well, that's funny. That's the way I got Dorothy started on English peas and
English
mashed
peas.
potatoes. Make a bird nest in the mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
And
well, that's what I'm talking about, the English peas. That's when I got started with the English peas.
oh, look at little Carolyn.
That's sweet.
Place to lay.
It,
That's sweet.
she is out. Well, I guess there was one other question that I had for you, Tenny, and but doggone if I'm. Did you go to the Davis Academy School?
Oh yeah, went that through 7th grade.
Through the 7th grade.
All the way. And walked 2 miles. If it was raining, Daddy would hitch up the mule to the buggy and take us in the buggy to school.
Isn't that the picture that I have of you? Is your graduation picture?
Huh?
Isn't that the picture I have of you? Is your graduation picture?
From Davis Academy?
That's from high school though, is it not? Not from Davis Academy.
Oh, that's your high
It's
school.
not
picture.
7th grade.
Do I have pictures you
No,
said?
no, I have it.
Oh, you do?
She graduated from high school when she was 16. Is that not right? You were 16?
Huh?
16 when you graduated from high school?
But that was Rutledge. I graduated from high school in Rutledge.
That's what I have.
Okay,
I have
from
your
the-
Rutledge picture.
And it was a red brick school.
The red brick, 2-story red brick schoolhouse.
Two-story, and it had big white columns up the front.
Probably was brand new about that time.
Well, it
Or was-
looked
was
good.
fairly new.
It was in good shape, but it'd been there for a while.
So I went to the 1st grade in that school, the last year that it was in existence before it got condemned by the county. And that would have been in 67.
I was away. I don't know when it was.
But then, well, Tenny, it sure is wonderful to have you tell some stories here that we can share with our daughters as they get bigger. And we sure
But it's great
appreciate.
to have those fond memories to think about too. That's what I
Just like to
exist
be
with,
held.
my fond memories.
Bill, did you ask about the nicknames for Grandma and Grandpa?
Oh, we had talked a little bit about it, but we talked about you just called Grandpa, but it was Jim.
What were the names that that Grandma and Grandpa Estes were called. They went by to other people called them.
Maggie and Jim.
Now you see, that was what we'd always heard, but we found a little evidence too. Libby had taken some notes from talking to Mom back, in the 1970s or early 80s, and she wrote in her notes that Grandma was known as Polly and Grandpa was known as Jim Heskey. Jim Heskey and Polly. And Mother said, I never heard Polly. It was
And James
Maggie.
Isaac was his name, was James Isaac, J-I-S-T. James Isaac was his name, and everybody called him Jim. But Grandma was Maggie.
And not Polly.
Elizabeth, Maggie, Elizabeth, Maggie, one of those.
Elizabeth America. So, well, that.
There's Dorothy Elizabeth. Did you have a rest?
She rested.
Did you have a
I
little
just
rest?
love that little dress.
Isn't that the sweetest
I
thing?
just love that little dress.
That little
Oh, it's so
smocking and
pretty.
little
I used to
red
sell little dresses like that, and I just loved them.
Oh, you did?
I sure did.
Where did you do that?
When?
When and where?
Well, I did it in Augusta and Athens, Georgia, at Davison's. The
Okay.
Davison's when I
Okay.
worked.
Before Macy.
That's right.
And it was Polly Flanders' little dresses, and oh, I couldn't keep them.
Oh,
They were so cute.
I thought Athens was Miss Fox's.
She was
I
at
moved
Davis
from
at
Athens.
first.
This lady called me and wanted me to manage her shop in Athens. And I told her I was happy where I was. She said, well, that's the kind of person I want, somebody happy doing what they do. So she said, well, talk it over with your husband. And I talked it over with Hope. He said, tell her what you'll take. So when I told her what it would take for me to change, she says, well, that's what I expected to pay. So I had no choice then. I had to go.
Fox's Children's Shop.
At the Fox's Children's Shop in Athens,
I
Georgia.
remember that.
oh.
And Bill, you may not know that Tenny and Hoke kept Amy the day that Megan was born.
No,
Yeah,
did not know that.
yeah, she stayed with us and she was so cute.
And what did Amy do that day? Remember the
We
thing?
had sliding glass doors to go back on the deck out of the eating area, and we were going outside to play. And so we started, here she goes tripping right along, and bang, she went right straight into that door, popped that little head, but she didn't cry. And so I had put pictures up there for the adults, so the adults would do that. And I had them would go down here for the children, but I just hadn't put them up.
Oh my.
So I immediately got them and let her put them up. So
Amy
she
served
put
as a good
all-
reminder of
Put
that.
all those up on the door so when no more children run into them.
Well, Tenny, do you can you vouch for the story that Grandpa Estes could not bear to see any of his daughters married away at this house, apparently?
Well, I've heard that so many times, but I just can't remember about where he was during Aunt Cassie's wedding. I remember Aunt Cassie's wedding and being in there, but I don't remember where Grandpa was. I don't remember about him leaving or nothing.
Well, we were told that he went down to the creek.
But
and he stayed
yeah,
in
back
the creek.
in the pasture to the creek, I heard.
And then in the stories in the notebook say that he drove off in the horse and buggy somewhere. Now, did you ever see Grandma Davis and her? Did she have the dog Scout that would travel under the buggy? Mother, was that Grandma Davis?
Now, I don't know about
You
that.
don't remember that story?
Sarah, come sit here, because you should be on this interview.
But she,
Where's my pocketbook, Alicia?
Bill, I'm coming fast.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
We're talking about Scout and the and Grandma Davis coming up here to see Granny T's.
Patrick's. She knows this is Patrick's bag.
It sure is.
Yes. But Mama told how Grandma Davis would come up here to visit in her little buggy and would tie her horse with the buggy to that chain out on the tree in the front yard. And that little dog, Scout, would run up here between the four wheels of the buggy, and then would sit there under those four wheels in the shade of the buggy while Grandma Davis visited. And then they'd go home with it running between those four wheels.
What about that?
Now, wasn't that a neat story?
Yeah, I don't remember that. But I remember an Aunt Sissy, they called her, Aunt Sissy. Daddy! Of course, sister, and this is what the children, the brothers and sisters could say sister, so they said Sissy. And so then when she gets grown and all, everybody calls her Aunt Sissy. And so Aunt Sissy lived in Madison, and so Granny would go down and visit her, and she would come here and visit. And Granny's last visit was down there to see Aunt Sissy. And she bought her some new shoes, beautiful black satin shoes. And she wore them home. That's the only time she wore them. But she got sick and was bedridden, and she had a problem with her foot. And the doctor said that nobody could wear those shoes because something from that could have drained out into that shoe. And it was Mama's side. Mama could have worn the shoes, but no, they burned those shoes.
Wow. How about
Mama
that?
said it was something about that Grandma had diabetes.
Well, I don't remember about her saying she had diabetes, but evidently she must have had.
And that
I know
did something for her foot.
Gladys, I remember Gladys coming up the hall that when I came down here one day, she was just crying. She thought they was going to have to take Grandma's leg off. But Grandma died just a few days after that.
Well, Sandra, did you ask about the names?
We did, but we already talked about that. And Carolyn was just pulling on my bracelet. I wore this bracelet today, so let me take it off. And Mother, you can tell this.
Like Grandpa Estes gave one of these bracelets to all of his girls.
Yes.
And this is Aunt Nervous.
Oh, yes.
And,
Mama had one of those, and I remembered. I don't remember what happened to it right this minute. Isn't it beautiful?
And my mama had one
Gentle.
too, but we don't know anything about what happened to her.
I can't remember what happened.
Minerva Estes.
Wasn't it nervous? Isn't that pretty? Yeah, Mama had one like that.
Well, you ladies,
I'm so glad
the
you
tape
still
is
have this, Sandra.
my tape is almost at its end, so y'all can have a big hug here. And Tenny, we sure appreciate you coming so far to be with us, and you're an inspiration to us all.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
Yep.
Just such a wonderful turnout.
We love you.
I love all of you all too.
Alrighty, and we will see you next year, if not sooner.
Good Lord willing.
All right. Amen.